All right, welcome everyone. A little late, but never disappointing. And because of all the crazy action yesterday, had to put this off a day, but that's okay. Peyton had a birthday party tonight, Mike, and I said, you know what, go enjoy a birthday party. Don't hang out with two old guys talking draft. But she's like, I'll stay. I won't miss it. So anyway,
I'm already thrown into the old guy club, huh?
Bro, you're twice her age.
Well, compared to her, yes.
Here's the deal. If you got a daughter her age, you're an old guy.
5 years older than me?
I'm 50.
7.
Yeah. So there you go. Kreckman's older than you. Would you have guessed that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have guessed that.
All right. So
I probably would have just kind of looked at the overall, kind of the status of the, what do they call that? The melanin, skin.
Melatonin.
Yeah, and
the furrowed brow.
Yeah, and then also probably some of the antics as well. Or Nate screams old man at times.
I'll let him know tomorrow. All right.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into it. You and I were talking about last week with when we were doing our podcast. We were talking about, do we think they could surprise us with defense? We'll look at some defensive players. We're going to kind of change course this week, folks. I've talked to enough people.
Why. Do you want to give the why on that one? The conversation that we had over the course of the day?
Well, first off, you don't think the defensive class is all that. It's not a sexy class necessarily. Although, look, if you find yourself another Jackson, I'm trying to think of the guy that I covered, Malik Jackson, that we used to have, who was a terror up the middle with Derek Wolfe on the Super Bowl teams. Guess what? A defensive tackle can be pretty sexy. He was at LSU.
Yeah, D tackle is probably the only defensive position I could even imagine at pick 20, or even as a trade out of pick 20 to go lower. The D tackle is the only position I could even. I mean, maybe corner. Is there any way that the Broncos aren't satisfied with Riley Moss? I thought he was.
I don't even know if it's about Riley Moss. It's about next, right? It's about always having that.
Yeah, I mean, Riley's a second-year player, man. PS2 is in what, year 4?
Well, Riley's a third-year player. Unfortunately, he just didn't get a play his first year.
Next year. Yeah, he just finished up his second year.
Yeah, you're right. I've already moved on, but
as you should have.
No, look, I've told Jim and Worry, the safety out of South Carolina, because I think he's a chess piece player, a joker, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think he could play a little dime backer for you. I think he could be your big nickel to take on tight ends. I think he's a backup. Look, I think he's an option if Hufanga doesn't get fully healed. I think he's a great option there. But I don't think they're going to do that, right? I don't know if it profiles that way. Ian Rappaport's thrown out there, the Texas receiver. I finally saw today, and Albert Breer kind of threw it out there. Luther Burden is starting to get a little buzz starting at 20. The more we go over it, so bottom line, folks, we've talked to too many people that said they're going offense to bother going with the defense right now. Mike and I will be on Altitude Sports Radio's coverage on Thursday night. We're live at number 38. Come down and join us. We'll be watching the Nuggets game. We'll be covering the draft. D-Mac and Tyler will be there. Brett Kane will be hosting a watch party for the Nuggets game. We're going to have a ton of Altitude staff. We're all going to be out there. Number 38 is a great place near Rhino if you love it. If you know where the old Blue Moon Brewery is, It's right next to that, not too far from I-70. So come and check us out. Join us. We'll watch all these sporting events together. But let's get back to Luther Burden. It's someone that you and I talked about. If he is, in fact, in the ilk of Dabo Swinney, that to me is more
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel, sorry. Yeah, not the coach, the receiver. My bad. I'm glad you caught that. I do that all the time.
We got pure gets here at Clemson University.
And then he's going to go running out all fast of the tunnel.
He's coming down to Howard's Hill. Howard's Rock, going.
If he's Debo Samuel, I would say that's closer to Joker. Do you think Omarion Hampton's a joker, man?
No.
I just don't feel like he's a joker guy. I'm tired of everybody.
He's not a joker. He's a good back. He's a solid back. I hate to do it. I've been saying it. I think it's like pre-injury Javonte Williams. I know that a lot can be made about the comparison solely based off of the college uniform he wore, but watching the highlights, I feel like I'm watching Javonte Williams, University of North Carolina highlights from 6 years ago. And is that a bad thing? No, it's not. But is that first pick of the draft? for
20,
your franchise
20.
good? No, it's not. Would you take Javonte Williams at pick 20?
No, not because, again,
I wouldn't.
the way they run, hello, all that have checked in all the way, by the way. It's just what you said right there, man. And I love Javonte. Javonte was a good player when he started, but we know running backs, especially the style of Hampton and Javonte. Javonte was like Hampton, for those that don't remember, and I know most of you do, but for those that maybe don't. Javonte was not afraid to run through contact. That's why I remember when he got drafted, Jeff and Stink and some of the guys that I know were telling me, hey, man, he profiles for the NFL well. He wasn't Mr. Give me a huge lane to run through. Like, remember the little scat back that was also with him in the backfield? And I think he went to Carolina or something. Yeah, right. I don't even remember his name because I don't think he's done anything in the NFL. So, but I think Hampton profiles well in the NFL. The problem is, Mike, I worry with that running style, is he going to get his knee blown up as well? And I don't know that I want to risk pick 20 on that.
Yeah. And does he have a skill set at pick 20 that you can't get at pick?
Thank you.
Whatever, 62 or 50, would it be 52? I don't see it. Like, there are running backs in this very, very deep, wealthy, the wealth of talents between the second round and the fifth round, between running backs and tight ends. And I would say not named Ashton Genty at the running back position, not named Tyler Warren, and I'm going to throw Colston Loveland in there. Reading Leggy's top 100, I went through that pretty thoroughly. Man, he brought up a great point about Colston Loveland. Go back to the 2023 film when he had a competent quarterback. Dude, that guy was a monster. He set the all-time Michigan record for receptions and production at the tight end position. That's a school that certainly has had a lot of it's been pretty tight end heavy, tight end rich. Man, I think Colston Loveland, here's the deal with Colston Loveland. Don't shake up, don't borrow from Peter to pay Paul, or steal from Peter to pay Paul for a guy like Colston Loveland. But if he falls to you at 20, man, I'll be happy about that. And I know I wasn't super fired up about it 5 weeks ago or whatever, Andy, when we were talking about the combine and seeing him with that sling on, and he's squeezing the ball and he's got his elbows propped up and he just had his labrum surgically repaired. I still think Colston Loveland would be a good player at pick 20. If there's any chance that you can move up and get Ashton Genty, I'm just telling you, man, like this doesn't come from a place of bias. This comes from a place of, one of my good friends was the head football coach at Boise State University. All right. He's a teammate of mine. His name is Andy Avalos. He was the head coach there last season, like 2 seasons ago, 2023. It's the first year that I had a chance to really follow my alma mater. And because I was out of coaching, right? I was just hanging out, being like the rest of us, right? Watching football from our couches, doing a bunch of podcasting for Boise State, for Bronco Nation News. The very first game of the year was against Michael Penix and the University of Washington Huskies. Ashton Genty, this is just 2 seasons ago. He was the backup running back to a guy named George Halani. And George Halani carried the ball about, I'd say 15 times, and Ashton Genty carried it about 12. And I was screaming at my television. I'm like, who is the backup? That guy should be carrying the football 30 times a game. Well, you know what Andy Avalos didn't mandate that his offensive coordinator do? Hand the ball off to Ashton Genty 30 times a game. And guess what happened to Andy Avalos? He's no longer the head football coach at Boise State. And guess what the interim head coach did? He gave the ball, when he took over, to Ashton Genty 30 times a game. And guess what? He's now a millionaire. And he was the interim head coach.
Well, it's good work if you can get it. It's good work if you trust to back. Listen, I'm with you, Mike. If you can go get Genty, if you could go get Tyler Warren, those are the guys I'm interested in trading up for. Listening to you, listening to Tyler, reading Jeff's breakdown does have me a little bit more back on, all right, Colston Loveland, maybe I need to get because again, we've been burned here in Broncos country by the Big Ten tight end.
It's a real thing.
Especially a guy that has an injury, but whatever. I will admit to you, I don't love the go back to this year kind of deal. Now, I understand what you're saying with Loveland. There was a better quarterback in play with J.J. McCarthy a couple years ago than there was with what he had last year, right? The
Orgy was his quarterback. Remember Orgy?
Really?
Yeah, the last name of the quarterback is Orgy. Orji.
Oh, last year?
Yeah, this past season, man.
Sure.
That's tough, man. You got a quarterback that's named after an orgy? That's tough, man.
Well, you think you could have a passing orgy. People should have had a reception orgy, but apparently there was no scoring orgy.
There was not a scoring orgy,
Chris,
but there was an incompletion orgy. I can tell you that.
Here's another guy. So real quickly, I love Tyler Warren. I trade up for him because, again, I think that's a true joker. But other than that, really I guess.
Is he? Do you think he's truly the only real joker, as Sean Payton would talk about it, in this entire draft class?
Well, Chuck is hitting us with TreVeyon Henderson. I think TreVeyon Henderson has a chance. But yeah, listen, I don't know. TreVeyon Henderson is like Alvin Kamara. Like you can fill the joker role. You know what? Why don't I just borrow from one of our sponsors? One that everybody loves. You can get your ED fixed, but you don't want the good experience. You want the holy cow experience, right?
Yeah, you do.
The holy cow experience to me is Tyler Warren in that case. All right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, again, I think you can do a lot with TreVeyon Henderson, as Chuck is suggesting there. And I think when we put this up, he's going to be the little thumbnail picture and all that. I'm all in on TreVeyon Henderson the more that I hear about him, and I like him more than Amari and Hampton. But again, I want the guy that truly, to me, the joker, and I think we've been throwing it around a little too much because we've all heard so much about it. But to me, the joker should be the ultimate matchup problem. Travis Kelce was a joker. Bowers is a joker. He's a matchup problem. Pick your back out of the backfield. I think Saquon Barkley is a bit of a joker, is he not? Yes. That's a dude you really don't have an answer for. So I think because it's special, let's not act like they're guaranteed to get one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, Nate was like, well, what if so-and-so could be the joker and the tight end could be okay, then you don't have a joker if two guys are trying to fill the role. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey, to me, you want the joker, it's Christian McCaffrey. Wouldn't you say?
100%. He is that guy that you elite route runner can break down man coverage, understands how to settle in zone coverage in the pass game, and then can run between the tackles, can run gap schemes, can run outside zone, can run inside zone. The guys, that's what you want. You know what's funny about Alvin Kamara is everybody's kind of talked about this with regards to Sean Payton and his background in New Orleans and using the term joker incessantly. You want to talk about Alvin Kamara? First of all, where was he drafted? Let's
third round.
Third round, right? Third round. Okay, so you hit. Now on the flip side, so size 5'10", 214. Okay, hand size 9.25. All right, pretty run of the mill type stuff, right? 4.56 combine. That's what he ran. 40-yard dash at the combine at 4.56. Now you saw some explosive numbers. His vertical jump was just shy of 40-inch vertical jump, and his broad jump was just shy of 11 feet, which is outstanding. And you look at the draft profile of TreVeyon Henderson, 5'10", 202, 9.5-inch hand size. He did run a 4.43, and then his vertical jump was 38.5, broad was 10.8. I don't know if there's anything on tape that shows me that TreVeyon Henderson is elite as a pass catcher, route runner. I think he's solid. I think he's good. And I think that the quote-unquote overusage of the word joker, I think it does apply in this draft class. Like, I see the guy that it applies to is Tyler Warren. And I see Ashton Jeanty is, in a sense, in a class like Saquon Barkley, that he's almost an offense in and of himself, right? And that you could say that certainly about Christian McCaffrey, but Jeanty and Saquon Barkley are an offense in and of themselves, because you should be terminated if you're not utilizing those types of players to the tune of somewhere between 20 and 30 overall touches in a ball game.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I'm with you on all that. Not a lot of disagreement. People shouldn't be shocked. You and I agreed about a lot of stuff last year. I just think, you know what? Joker's become the new, I'm trying to think of some of the cool hip phrases we, the media, learn, and now we want to run with it and try to label it.
Well, the one that's really gotten a lot of juice the last decade with quarterback evaluation is arm talent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the old arm talent. We used to, back in the day, Andy, you guys probably just said, that guy's got a cannon, or he's got a strong arm. Now it's like, yes, he's got so much arm talent, and then, everybody loves talking about plays well off platform,
Yeah.
It's a little bit that. You know what? Like, I'm getting tired of the word joker because what does it mean? A good football player? Why don't we
A
just
versatile dude.
Yeah, but dude, does it really mean like versatility? I don't know,
You
man.
might be right. I don't know. It's Sean's term. Look, Sean will tell us when he's got
Like
one.
Evan Ingram. What is versatile about Evan Ingram?
See, I'm with you. That's just a good pass catching tight end. But you and I both said, I think you and I were on the air when we heard about this, and we were both like, dude, he's not a joker.
I don't like, what are we doing? What's a joker? A good football player? A guy that plays tight end and he's taller than 6'3". He runs pretty well and he catches the ball well. That's a joker? So then there's 15, 20 jokers in the NFL at the tight end position. I don't know. Taysom Hill. Yeah, Taysom Hill, I see joker. Versatile.
Sure.
He's a college quarterback. BYU is committed to us at Stanford. The guy played fullback. He played, wildcat quarterback. He plays tight end, H-back, receiver. Yeah, that's a versatile player. Alvin Kamara, good running back, man. Really good dynamic running back, plus traits as a pass catcher. But is that out of like the norm? I mean, wasn't Roger Craig a really good running back that caught the ball well? Is that a joker? Or is this just a really good running back?
This is just this town wanting to sound smart, man.
The town?
I don't know.
The town?
Yeah, I think this
Or
city.
how about the leading man in town, man? Sean Payton. He loves.
No, I think John, you know what I really do think? I think Sean Payton has fun with all of this. I really do.
He's just
Nate and I were
giggling
talking
at all
about
of
it
us
today.
He's
There's
just
nothing
giggling
but
at all of us.
Well, hey, listen, there's nothing but rumor after rumor after rumor of the Broncos moving up, the Broncos moving down. Will they jump? Like Nate and I were saying it today on our show.
I listened to your segment on Megan Payton, which was
we'll have to talk about that too. But don't you kind of just
good.
feel like he's screwing with like I could just see Sean going, oh yeah, we totally won. Because again, he doesn't have to back. He's sitting at 20. He's in very little control of what happens down there, right?
Do you find it surprising that really the only team for the last 10 days that's been consistently linked with possible massive trade movement has been Sean Payton?
Because I think he's feeding all his media. I think he's
the only one. I think he's the only one who talks to them all
I
the
think
time.
He's laughing his ass off right now. I really do. I think my line to Nate was, are you surprised the guy that wants a joker wants to watch the world burn? Because I think he's just like, yeah, Shregs, we're totally going up to 2. We're trying to get up to 3. And I don't think he's trying to be mean about it. Yeah, I'm sure he would take 2 if he could. Like, he's not lying, but he knows it's not realistic either. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think he's just having fun with everybody. I think he loves that the Broncos keep popping up and everyone's all on fire about it. And I really do. And I think he knows at the end of the day, they're going to make a smart decision. You know, I hope they don't get crazy. Like, how about this? How about we go here? Would you trade next year's first rounder to get Genty or Warren?
Yes, I would. I would.
Oh, Mike, I'm so sick of getting rid of first rounders.
I think that those 2 players, I had the fortune to fall madly in love with both of them because I was on field level for the Fiesta Bowl this year, college football playoff, and both of them were on that field. I was at media day for both of them, had a chance to hear and talk to and see what kind of people they are. I think that they are, man, when you got your quarterback of the future and you feel good about what you got at the quarterback position, you and I have, we've come around to the, not to the sake that I don't, is Bo Nix a top 5 talent at the position? I don't believe so. Do I think he ever will be? I don't. I do not. Do I think he's got the perfect makeup for Sean Payton in the future and what that, you want your quarterback to be? Yes. You are set at that position. And like you and I have talked about it off air, man. We've kind of, like, I wouldn't say we've fallen in love with him, but man, we're like, this is a real dude, man. He's accountable to his teammates. He has no drama in the offseason. He's got his head screwed on the right way, and he's a worker, right? So you get a chance for the first time in a long time to have a young quarterback, frankly, since Elway, right? That you really believe in.
I will say this. Now, look, is Bo going to get much better than he is? I don't know. But like you said, Sean can scheme up an offense that works if he doesn't, you know what I mean? And from the people I've heard from about the guy off the field, guys love him. So good. I'm glad. I will also say, Mike, I don't like forcing quarterback picks, but you cannot anybody that says that they're not, I guess I'll put it this way. I am so happy the Broncos are not trying to find a quarterback in this current group of what is available.
First of all, I don't believe that Shedeur Sanders and Sean Payton would be a great fit.
No, because
I don't
he holds
think
it
Cam
too long,
Ward,
right?
I don't think Cam Ward, from what I've heard about Cam Ward, a lot of his persona is chip on the shoulder to the point of being almost combative towards authority. Those are the exact words I heard from two different NFL sources that were in some of the meetings at both the Senior Bowl activities and the Combine. And then people that are talking themselves into Jackson Dart this year, they either just refuse to watch film or they are on the take with Jackson Dart's agency. It's the only explanation, because you pop in the Florida tape, pop in the Kentucky tape of Ole Miss, who had a ton of talent around Jackson Dart. He was god awful. I mean, I'm talking, you can't even make an excuse for how bad that tape was. The guy's he's nowhere near a first round draft pick. Tyler Shuck, you can't even talk. I mean, I love him. He's an awesome kid. I recruited him like 9 years ago when I was at Notre Dame. Literally, the guy's 26 years old. But man, there's not a no-brainer at the quarterback position. Now, Shedeur is my favorite quarterback by far in this draft class because he performs when the game's on the line in the fourth quarter. He's the only guy that I've seen that when the magnitude goes up, either in the moment or the game, his play goes up. And that's what separates and distinguishes quarterbacks, from great ones from average ones.
Well, now it's about, let me ask you this. So you already said that you would trade away a first round draft pick to get up and get one of the two players, Warren or Genty.
Why stop there, Andy?
Because I don't want to think about sacrificing too much here, but
why not go get jersey number 12 that you were on the sideline for?
Well, because I don't think Cleveland's going to let you have him. Do you? Cleveland needs somebody desperately to put on the face of their tickets, and
for whatever reason, there's a lot of talk right now about picks 2 and 3 being on the market. I don't know who's leaking that. I don't know. I mean, Andy, you've watched a lot of football, man. You've been on the sideline, a lot of important football games in Denver Bronco history, CU Buffs history. You ever see anybody like that?
No.
Football field?
No. He's a special guy. The closest thing I saw Champ Bailey. He's as fluid an athlete as Champ Bailey was. I didn't see playing receiver Champ Bailey. He didn't do that in Denver. So, but the swivel of the hips, the just effortless change of direction, the glide to get into the back pedal, it's unbelievable, Mike. I've told you 100 times, I've never seen a DB make up ground and get to spots. He's got Spider-Man. He's got like catching glove hands.
It's stupid.
That's the trait. Stretches out to take a ball.
For me. That's the trait for me as an offensive guy that likes, it's called plays. I can't unsee what I saw in that North Dakota State game. Just the degree of difficulty on several catches that he made were otherworldly. And I would be surprised, but man, you have a chance to get a player like that, and there's a potential to be up for sale. I mean, if the Broncos think they are going to be as good as they are, a future first or 2 future firsts, I know that sounds insane. I know you want to kick me in the balls right now.
No, I don't. I'm listening.
But really, at the end of the day, those picks could be second rounders, damn near, where you're at pick 28 to 32.
Here's the thing for me though. I want to see him play full-time corner and part-time wideout, because Nate was telling me about an article today that was breaking it down about, is there ever really a part-time DB? Like, they put it as Travis Hunter is like a starting pitcher, and you got to get the most out of his starts. And the way you're going to get the most out of his starts is to have him shut down. Man, if you had Surtain and Hunter out, what side are you going to? And you could still use him. You could still use him plenty in the offense. You teach him 2-3 routes. Don't make it obvious what he's doing when he comes in there. But dude, on defense, he and PS2 together would be stupid. And look, Cleveland, here's what I do think is funny. Cleveland knows they probably just need players because they're going to have to get out of cap hell one way or another, right? The Deshaun Watson thing's not going away. So I guess, what would you say? 2 firsts, 2 thirds, 2 firsts, second and a third? What are you doing? Like, I'm trying to break it up a little bit. Do we have any idea? See, this time last year, we already knew it was going to be a bad draft for quarterbacks this year. Yeah. Do we have any idea? Have you heard from any of your college people what they think next year's draft's going to be?
Oh, man, I think that 2024 draft class is so unique that we're gonna measure the next couple drafts against that. And I think that draft in 24 was obviously the 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Unbelievable talent at the receiver position. I mean, it's unbelievable to think that arguably the best rookie receiver was drafted in round pick 20, Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, he was like, oh, this guy's really good. That guy would be a top 3 pick this year in the draft. I would say that next year, from what I've heard from kind of my sources, my people, the quarterback position has some potential, but there's a lot of unknowns right now.
And nobody knows if Arch does what his uncles did. He isn't coming out next year. He'll play his another 3 years, right?
And I mean, there's not enough yet to say Arch Manning's a franchise quarterback.
Well, there you go.
I've watched. He's got a lot to prove to be the starting quarterback at Texas and not have his job be questioned right now. That's what I'd say based off what I've seen. Good athlete, runs around really well, but does he really have it? We'll find out.
Let's say how about this? I like that thinking. I do like that thinking. 3 rings. I'll take 3 rings of Marshall Manning. Although, look, we scout Marshall Manning already. I got a feeling Marshall Manning's already run some pretty complicated Pop Warner offenses from some of the people I know that are around the Manning family.
No doubt.
I don't think he's run your standard, your standing passer tree anyway. Okay, let's go the other way. Let's say nobody will give you the picks to get Genty. Nobody will give you the picks to get Hunter. Nobody will give you the pick to get Warren. Although, look, man, Warren, hey, I told you on the phone, I read just 2 days ago the Niners looking to get out of 11. Mm-hmm. So if Warren can get out of the top 10 or Genty gets out of the top 10, you might be able to dance with the Niners. And if not, by the way, if you do still want a good tight end, George Kittle is not happy with his contract. And I've told you for a couple months now, I would call and just say, hey, man, how much teardown are you guys doing? And maybe I'd say, what about Christian while we're at it? Anyway,
boy, that'd be fun.
Let's say nobody wants to dance with you or your player just gets picked and whatever, okay? Do you take a first rounder next year and get out of this for a second this year?
I don't know.
So you're not going to get another first round pick at 20. You go back. Let's say it's Cleveland or the Giants or someone like that who wants back in, wants to not risk. Let's call it Cleveland because I just keep hearing Daboll's not. There's a big thing in today about how Daboll's not about Shedeur.
Yeah,
just doesn't want to deal with it. So let's say it's the Browns willing to come up to 20 to beat the Steelers to Shedeur, but you're going to have to go back to the start of the second round. Are you doing that to have 2 firsts next year?
Are you really going to get a first next year though? Because
how about they want the quarterback?
Yeah, it'd have to be. It would have to be a quarterback that's really, really, really falling, and a team that is absolutely anxious as all get out.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Mike, because I threw this out. Let's say the Browns take Hunter at 2. I could reunite Shedeur with Hunter. They did all right together in college.
Yeah. That would be pretty enticing if that's the case. Now, here's what to do that. If you're Sean Payton, you got to think about the window that exists right now with the defense. It's going to be really good, and by all accounts, you really solidified the inside, the middle, straight down the middle of the defense with interior defensive linemen, which could use a little bit of help just in terms of depth at the interior defensive line. Linebacker is a position of strength now with the addition of Dre Greenlaw, and I love Alex Singleton. I think he's a really good football player. You combine him with a super athlete like Greenlaw if he's healthy, and then your secondary, Brandon Jones and Talanoa Hufanga. That's a heck of a tandem. So I look at the window and I'm like, okay, Sean Payton potentially, if he does that, he'd have to make the decision that he doesn't love what is available at pick 20 value-wise. Now, the names that keep coming up in my head, if they get to 20 and are still on the board, we're going to find out a lot about what Sean Payton really thinks in terms of, say, a Tet McMillan. Does he love the overall length, athleticism, the speed at 6'5", 218, that ran in the 4.48, 4.47 range, which is crazy. That's impressive. Much faster than Cortland Sutton ran at his pro day or at the combine. Is it Luther Burden? Does he see that guy that's really strong with his hands, that can go up and high point the football, can make the back shoulder contested catch, and then can also be a guy that you do use as a jack of all trades and handing the ball off, a little bit more of a physical version of Marvin Mims Jr. And then it's like Matthew Golden, a guy that he's in. Who knows? I'm not.
Well, Golden's the guy Ian Rappaport threw out. That's the Texas wideout, right?
Yeah, and the thing
Tell
about
us a
him,
little bit about him. I haven't heard much about him.
Dude, he's not a big receiver, so he doesn't necessarily fit into the mold of like what you think of Sean Payton. He's a bit slider. Think this year's version of Xavier Worthy, right? Ran a 4.29 at the combine, which shocked everybody. Everybody thought he was a fast 4.4 type guy, but running, he didn't break the all-time combine record like Xavier Worthy did, but another receiver out of the University of Texas that had good production, nothing that was otherworldly production-wise, solid production, and and is a true speedster. I don't know if that's exactly, you got that kind of speed right now in Marvin Mims, who himself ran in the 4.3s when he came out, and similar size profile, almost to the inch and to the pound. So I don't know if that's a bit redundant between a guy like Marvin Mims and Golden, whereas Luther Burden is really thick in the lower body, big, thick lower. He's got the caboose like a Deebo Samuel. He's not quite that thick, but he does have that kind of
little hockey butt.
Yeah. Yep.
What's up, Taylor? Yeah, man, it's by the way, everybody's asking, are you gonna try to get Marshall to Valor? Has the recruiting pitch begun to Peyton?
all I know is, hey, I ain't hard to find, man. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, you'll put out a little hype video.
Yeah,
walk out on your balcony in Valor and overlook beautiful Islands Ranch, facing the wrong direction.
Blessed, I'm blessed.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's just say nothing. By the way, Brian Baldinger had a little video out today too, and he said he feels something big. He feels a blockbuster trade coming, and then that was after Brian Baldinger put out his own video on his own Twitter handle after he went on DNVR and said, I could see the Broncos making a trade. So I don't know if Baldy's messing with this or not, but just something to keep in mind. So yes, Sean Payton's daughter did her own mock draft for those that missed it. And look, this is a connected young lady, okay? And she works for FanDuel. She works in the industry for one of the most legit, book companies going. She has Omarion Hampton as her mock draft pick to the Broncos at 20. Do we put any credence? I know you said you heard the conversation.
I put a ton of credence into that.
Do you think he wouldn't just use her to get her message out? You're a coach. Would you use your daughter as an agent?
That I'm using. Yes, there's no way that Sean Payton's daughter is going to break the news a full day before, for 3 days before. There's no way. I think us coaches are serial killers, man. I mean, you want to talk about deranged individuals? There's no way that that's going to happen. I mean, in fact, it's the opposite. It's like, hey, I'll give you a little scoop, babe. All right, sweetie. I'll give you a little scoop about what I'm hearing in the league. Kind of, I think this is what New Orleans is going to do from what I've heard. This is what, this is where I see this happening, that happening, all the things. But you got to put that I'm drafting Omarion Hampton, which is what every mock draft has me drafting. Perfect.
Just feed the fuel.
Yeah.
Just feed the fuel. So, yeah, I told the story. You probably heard it. I'll tell it for those on here that maybe didn't. I remember covering, I had a lot of friends at Broncos for a long time. And one of them told me after Josh left, matter of fact, Josh wasn't even gone. It was in 2010. But someone in the know told me, he goes, yeah, Josh wouldn't even let the cleaning staff into his office for 2 months because he was worried the cleaning staff was going to somehow sabotage or let his draft board out or something. I'm like, come on. These folks just want to vacuum your stupid office and go home, man.
How about my office at Valor? This is hilarious, man. So it's up in the press box, which is it's its own little office on the side. It hasn't been used by a head coach for 7 years, since Ed McCaffrey was the head ball coach there. It opens up to like kind of like a little bit of a, I don't know, like it's a rooftop, basically. It's the rooftop of the press box area. And it opens up to that, and it's really nice. And I'm like, oh, this would be cool on, game day, or we could have little, put little picnic tables out here. We could barbecue. I could bring a grill up here. So I go and walk out there the very first day I chose this as my office. I'm like, I want this office. It's cool. And they're like, yeah, nobody's been up there since Ed. And I was like, all right, shoot, why not? So I go out on that little patio area, and then I go to re-enter, and I realized that somebody had removed the doorknob to get back into the office. So I ask our facility guy, Sammy, who's the absolute best. I'm like, Sammy, why is there not a doorknob here? Was there vandalism? Did some kid break it off? He goes, no. He goes, Ed McCaffrey didn't want people to have the chance to sneak into his office. So he asked me that I would remove the doorknob at Valor Christian. I was dying. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. What are we doing?
Coaches trust nobody.
So,
yeah, oh man, that's so good. That always makes me laugh so much. All right, let's just say nothing fiery happens. I got to be honest with you, Mike. I don't even know what going chalk would look like, because mock drafts are all over the place. This is not like last year where we pretty much knew who the top 10 were going to be. I think we know. We don't even know the teams. I think we know it's going Ward, Hunter, Carter. And we'll see if the Browns and Giants actually trade out of those picks. But I think those three guys are getting chosen. There is all sorts of stuff that said Vrabel could take Genty at 4. Genty could go to Jacksonville now at 5. They've got, of course, the Raiders have been at Genty's spot for a long time. I've seen now the Jets have been linked to him. The Bears want a running back. If Genty's gone, the Bears are taking Hampton, all that stuff. Who would be like is Hampton like the mundane kind of all right pick if it just kind of goes as chalk as I guess it could at this point? Or is there somebody else?
Loveland falling to you.
But I'd be all right with Loveland.
Oh, I'd be happy. I'd be happy.
Mike, and I feel bad because the kid probably is going to be a really good football player.
He's going to be a good player, man.
But I'm talking about Hampton now. Hampton, I'm just kind of, it's just like getting a peanut butter and jelly, I feel like, in my lunch. And I don't know why. It's not even fair. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on the kid. I didn't watch his whole career. It just profiles so much as Javonte. And then what the hell did you go draft an Audric Estime if you're going to draft somebody that's basically close to the same skill set?
Yeah, the value. I'd be upset and disappointed in Amari and Hampton at pick number 20, not because I don't think he's a good player, but because I think you can get a similar, or in the eyes of me as somebody who has watched a lot of these backs, I think you can get somebody who's even better in the second round. I do. And the guy that just I keep going back to it. You get Quinshawn Judkins in the second round. I'm doing cartwheels, brother. I'm doing cartwheels.
If he's still hanging out there, you just grab him anyway.
Second round,
you can't have enough backs.
Second round. No, I'm saying why jump at Omari and Hampton when there's a chance we can get Quinshawn Judkins in round 2, Caleb Johnson, who I think is going to be a really good player. I think he's a bit more of a wide zone runner. I could see a fit more like a McVay, Kyle Shanahan, the guy at Dolphins, McDaniel.
Right.
I could see him fitting those type of wide zone, outside zone, Mike Shanahan 2.0 type offensive systems. But yeah, there's so much. Travion Henderson, I believe, is going to be a second round pick. Quinshawn Judkins, I believe, will be available mid to late second round. Caleb Johnson is another guy. Why waste it on a guy that I think is not significantly better than that next crop of backs?
Okay, do this for me now. Give me your tight ends that you like. Let's say that the Warren, the Colson thing, it doesn't happen.
Of these guys, man.
So is it the Oregon kid? Is it the Texas kid that's from here? Who do you love? Rank them for me, the second tier, if you will.
Second tier. Okay, so we're out of the... Is that fair
to call him that, the second tier?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think there's going to be a superstar in this crew somehow, some way. But, if you get outside of the Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland crew, I would go, for me, apple of my eye, I like Terrence Ferguson as my number one guy in that next crew. I like his size profile. I coached against him at CU in 2022. I love the fact that he caught passes from Bo Nix in 2 years, consecutive years. And local product, man, there's something about a local product coming back. You've seen that, Andy, when you have that rare opportunity to play in your home state, it hits different, man. I'd go number 2 for me and what I like. I personally like Harold Fannin Jr. For a lot of the same reasons that I liked Brock Bowers a year ago. Think like running back skill set in terms of speed, agility, quickness, and being able to break tackles. So Sean Payton's offense, throw it short and then let them go to work. And I think that's Harold Fannin Jr. I love that player in that capacity. He's not big. He's not going to wow you with his size. I'm going to be glazing him, and then we'll be at training camp. You'd be like, dude, he's not very tall. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Brock Bowers wasn't very tall. I mean, everybody's talking about Brock Bowers undersized. But they have that great ability to run after catching the football and run through traffic and make guys miss. Gunnar Helm, solid tight end. I love the fact that he gritted it out. Also another local product, Cherry Creek. I think he'd be my third guy. So as you can see, forgot the guy that I was really enamored with. And son of Jason Taylor, the all-pro outside linebacker, defensive end. I keep forgetting about him. But I got Mason Taylor.
He's the LSU kid, right?
Yeah, I don't know that Sean will draft him. Man, I think he's got the full skill set to be an inline blocking tight end. So do you kind of have that already on your roster with what's the guy's name? Troutman.
Yeah.
Troutman. You kind of have that a little bit, but I think that Mason Taylor upside as a pass catcher. Mason Taylor and Terrence Ferguson are my 1A, 1B. Harold Fannin Jr., Gunnar Helm would be the next group. That's a good group, man.
Okay, let me ask you this thing, because Leggy told us early on he thinks if the Broncos do go tight end and it's not Genty or Colston, he could see them wanting the combo guy. So is Mason Taylor the best combo guy, blocking and catching?
He is the best. Yeah. Terrence Ferguson, hasn't been a total world beater as an inline tight end, as a blocker. Gunnar Helm's pretty dang good, pretty crafty as a blocker. Harold Fannin Jr. a little bit more like I like this comment here, little Vernon Davis to him. That's actually a freaking awesome comp. Kind of forgot about that, but just skill set wise, I could see that comp. That's the Mason Taylor. If you are looking for the two-way guy, knowing that two-way meaning good pass catcher, but maybe their home is as a run blocker and pass protector. I'd say Mason Taylor, dude, he might be the best two-way guy in this draft. Because I think he's got the ability to be a really, really good NFL run blocker and pass protector.
Well, it's going to get interesting from there. Where do you think, do you see value wide receivers? Let's say third round guys.
I got one. And I've kind of painted this picture, man. If you could get either trade out of pick 20, trade back, and say you get with your first, I would be ecstatic if you were able to trade out and you get in the second round, the pick that you acquire, you get a Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson. And then in your second pick in the second round, you get either a Mason Taylor, as we're talking about, or a Terrence Ferguson. And then third round, you go and get Colorado State's Torrey Horton.
I knew it.
Dude, I am going nuts. Because, dude, that is one of the best values in this draft.
He was just outside Leggy's top 100. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Leggy, the other guys that were right there.
Guarantee if he didn't have the injury history, he's not only in his top 100, he's probably in his top 50.
Okay, where do you think Will Shepherd from CU goes? Because, again, the size is intriguing. No? You think he's a CFA?
Yeah, I mean, you watched all the games, and I think he's a great kid. He's Vanderbilt transfer. He looks great, looks the part. Do you think he was a consistent for how big he is? Did he play that big consistently throughout the course of his career, his 1 year at CU? I didn't see it, man.
Here's what I saw.
I like this one right here. This Nug Nation 15. This is a great call, man. I love Kyle Williams, dude. That guy can ball. He can absolutely ball. And you know what was fun? Me and Nate Kreckman last year at Mountain West Media Days, we snuck over to the Pac-2 After Dark event between Oregon State and Washington State. They had their own little weird impromptu pack event, and Kyle Williams was there. And I love this kid, man. He's got a great way about him. Ironically, Torrey Horton was at that same event on the Mountain West side, and just an incredibly impressive young man as well. So yeah, there's some fun value. And that's what I keep going back to, man, is like, if you don't love what's at 20, don't get out. Just get out, man. Get picks in the second, third, fourth round, man.
Or next year. Seriously, if it's going to be a better class next year, get them next year. You don't like that, do you?
I think I like the value in rounds 2 through 4, 2 through 5. And I want Bo Nix to get some more enticing options to grow with him in his sophomore year.
Yeah, I keep hearing this 6th and 7th round could be a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone just wanting out, and not the grades aren't there, and nobody can find a trade partner and all this other stuff. So
I know.
By the way, not draft related. How about the Wolves running their mouths again and getting a little too cocky now, getting blown out by damn near 20?
Oh, are they really?
In LA. So
oh boy.
It'd be the second year they were doing this, but look, to answer your question about Will Shepard, he high pointed the ball well. What I was disappointed in you only need one foot down. He wasn't always great about being aware where that foot was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would make the great play, but then I go back and look at the video or the picture that I took, and he's not getting the foot down in bounds.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be like a depth guy. I mean, he ain't Cortland Sutton, that's for sure.
Right. All right. So there were rumors out of Dallas. I don't know if you caught this today. One of my buddies out of Dallas, one of our listeners out of Dallas, sent me a tweet of one of the insiders saying that the Cowboys were interested in trading for Cortland Sutton. And then Jane Slater from NFL Network came out and put water all over it. Is there a possibility the Broncos don't want to pay Sutton, do you think? Could they, if they were to get Ted McMillan, could they surprise us and move? Because we all think, why would you trade Sutton? He and Bo have got the great chemistry. I almost feel like you probably don't remember this, but Mike Hampton's catcher, when he first signed on with the Rockies, was a guy named Brett Maine. Yeah. And it was well known. Mike Hampton made it well known. He loved Brett Maine. The Rockies at the All-Star break decided they would trade Brett Maine because they wanted Ben Petrick to play. And frankly, Mike Hampton was never the same again. He went from all-star caliber his first couple months in Colorado to being one of the worst signings in MLB history. And I'm not saying it was all Brett Maine getting traded out of here, but again, you took away a guy's comfort level. Wouldn't there be something to that kind of analogy there if you were to trade away Cortland Sutton?
Dude, I just look at Cortland Sutton, man, even in the eyes of Sean Payton. As a coach, you got to ask with a player, is he a productive player? 2 years worth. As long as Sean Payton's been here, Cortland Sutton's been highly productive in the red zone when he was paired with Russell Wilson, right, in 2023. And then 24, man, he had a top 15 NFL receiver year. He's a number one wide receiver right now statistically. So number one, is he productive? And number two, is he a good teammate? Dude, I don't know if there's a better locker room guy in the NFL that is as productive as Cortland Sutton is. And Sean Payton, he values that.
So you think they'll pay him and it won't be an issue?
I think they should, and I think it would be warranted. And I don't think he should ever command bona fide top 8 wide receiver 1 money. But I think you could pay him in a way that if, say, you do draft a Tedero McMillan, that you pay 1A, kind of 1B money, right? Knowing that you're going to have a little bit of, is it kind of comparable to the Lions situation in a sense, right? Where you drafted Jameson Williams very high, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is kind of turned into a one receiver. But is he a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams type one? I don't know that he is. And so you kind of think of him potentially in that 1A, 1B category, at least between those two players.
Well, all right. It's all going to be interesting. And we're finally a couple of days. Are you to the point now? I always feel like, let me ask you this. I want to throw this theory off you. I meant to say this to Nate today, but we didn't get to it. I feel like if the draft was 2 weeks earlier, we'd get some more sane drafting. Maybe I feel like this extra 2 weeks, like when I started covering this thing 25 years ago, we were doing this like last weekend. Last weekend would have been the draft, and they moved it and all this other stuff.
It's turned into a huge TV event.
Well, it has, and now I feel like people sit around and get too much time to think about stuff, and
so it's good to hear that the old Wild are taking care of the Golden Knights. Are they?
Where's the dang game? I looked around, I couldn't find it. I don't want any happiness in Minnesota. I'll be honest. Although I want less happiness in Dallas.
Let's talk about that though, man. So Vegas Golden Knight, I went to a game of theirs towards the tail end of the season before they had fully wrapped up the Pacific Division. I mean, Andy, like I know we have this kind of size inferiority complex about Vegas from what they did to the Avs several years back. But at the end of the day, man, that team, they look like they're aging. They look very linear, and it looks like a team that you could outskate. And frankly, right now, I think the Avs are in a space where they've addressed some of those things that you talked about a year ago, man, that you're going to get beat up physically by a team like Vegas. I don't think that's the case anymore when you had guys like Brock Nelson and Jack Drury and
Charlie Coyle, baby.
Charlie Coyle,
Lindy.
I mean, there's dudes that are just look different, act different. They're a more serious hockey club now.
By the way, how about Manson laying that hit on Mikko last night that looked like a safety laying out a receiver coming over the middle? Dude, Lindgren and Manson and Johnson, that's not a fun group to play against.
No,
it just sucks that it sucks so bad that this is a first-round series. The NHL screwed this up. This should be the last thing before the Cup. What do you think? I know your answer, but go ahead and answer them.
Shedeur for me.
Really? Oh, yeah.
It ain't even close. And I know I'm wrong. I know the NFL is going to prove that I'm wrong in this for at least the draft. I look at quarterbacks and the value of quarterbacks in terms of what you do in two different scenarios. It's third down, passing the football, staying on the field, and third and passing situations. Shedeur is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then the second one is end of game 2-minute scenarios. And that's I don't know that there's been a college player that I've seen that has felt more inevitable with the ball in his hands at the end of a game than Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. How do you rate that? Love this comment. Redfish, we agree. We'll have to take this up another day. The second line's got to get it going. All right. How do you help me with this? Because I try to remind myself I've seen a lot of clutch college players not translate to the NFL. But, dude, I've watched Shedeur a number of times be inside the 10, end of a game. Line hasn't blocked for him all day, and he just finds a way to get it done and score points. How do you factor that in? Like, how do you reconcile that in the tape with the measurables and what you didn't like at the workout or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's a very lazy take right now to say that Shedeur Sanders doesn't have a strong arm. I think that's stupid. You saw it. Did he make all the throws, Andy? Like,
there's never a time where I was like, man, I want enough arm for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw it in the rain. I saw it in the wind. I saw it in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people say
he wasn't Mr. Travis Hunter. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say Shedeur Sanders didn't have the arm talent. I'm like, did we say possibly while watching two quarterbacks in the same state, one playing in the NFL, one playing at CU, that the kid down at CU makes more wild throws than even Bo Nix? Like, we've said that. I mean, we've watched it. Like, there's more wild throws coming out of Shedeur Sanders. So the arm talent piece, that is a dumb conversation. Taking sacks, yeah, that one pisses me off. It does. Like, it's like that's an area that needed to be addressed. Was it really addressed from his first year to second year? Not really. Not really. Some of that, I think, with Shedeur knows that he's got in his situation at CU, he had to extend plays. He had to be a big play merchant, hunting big plays. As a result, it was risk reward, right? Live by the sword, die by the sword. And then I'd say the other piece on Shedeur is, that would be a deficiency is maybe athleticism. Man, I think he's kind of got Jordan Love type of athleticism. A guy I coached that, Jordan Love wasn't going to run a 4.5 40, He's probably more like somewhere between a 4.68 and a 4.75. But dude, he's kind of slippery. He's got the feel for the game, knowing when to get rid of the football, those types of things. And I think that there's some of that, almost like basketball athleticism with Shedeur. Point guard athleticism.
Let me ask you this though. It's his size that's really causing some of the issues. Isn't
Size?
it?
What? I mean, what? I mean, why is everybody saying these? What's his size? I gotta look it up.
Over 6'1". He's not the thickest of kids. It's, look, these are the things that I'm being told. Okay. I just think there's still guys in the NFL that want your 6'3", 6'4" guy that sees over the top of the line. And I think people are a little worried that he's not quick enough. If he's going to take a beating and hold the ball, he's not going to live very long in the league.
So
look at you furrow brow and everything. You are not happy with that.
So just to be clear, Shedeur Sanders measured over 6'1" and 212 pounds at the combine. Okay. Bo Nix measured in right at 6'2". Caleb Williams measured slightly under 6'1". He was the number 1 overall pick. Okay. So what are we talking about here? Okay. Then let's talk about Cam Ward. This is the no-brainer number 1 pick in the NFL.
Oh,
draft.
he's not much bigger than Shedeur.
And we're talking about that. We're worried about it. He was measured exactly at 6'2" and at 219. 1 inch taller or 3/4 of an inch taller. Cam Ward's got 9-inch hands. 9-inch hands. Okay. Just for context, Michael Penix Jr., my guy, you guys going to have a monster year. Want to talk about that guy's hand size? Guy had 11-inch hands. Guy's 2 inches. I mean, it's unbelievable. Michael Penix Jr., 10.5-inch hands, 1.5 inches longer hand size. So I don't want to hear it that Cam Ward is like. People are talking about he's 6'5" or something like that.
Hey, look, I'm with you. You and I both love Brian Callahan, the coach down there. I think you've talked yourself into something. I think you've just decided you got the first pick. We can't waste it. This is the best of whatever this group is. And we'll see.
Should have gone with the mayonnaise. Should have gone with the mayonnaise vibes, man. the essence of a mayo.
Where do you think, real quick before we wrap this up, what do you think happens to Rodgers? Did you see where people are feeling like last week Rodgers talked his way out of the NFL? Maybe done one too many Pat McAfee interviews.
I'm done. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. Done. Toast. Don't want to see him anymore. No, I just have no interest. No interest whatsoever.
All right. Well, with that, we wrap up our final draft lab.
I think we should wrap up with this question for you, Andy.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is an appropriate way. I think this is the type of question that Andy Lindahl always needs to answer.
Well, I mean, depends on the day. I was in the pool.
Brought to you by Rocky Mountain
Men's Clinic. Yeah. Now, see, I don't know that they do that. That's more the extends guys, the old extends on the race car. What NASCAR team was that? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Extends. Yeah. Oh, man.
Can you do the same exercises for what we're talking about, like they're doing for the hands?
Oh, yeah.
To try to stretch out just
you just got to go find that hidden inch, man. Life is about just discovering your hidden inch. There's no doubt about it.
And with that, we will wrap up this episode. Again, me and Mike, we're on the Altitude. You got to join us on 9:50 coming up Thursday night. We will have the draft coverage. The Nuggets game will be on 92.5. Mike, myself, D-Mac, Tyler will be doing draft coverage. Brett Kane will be hosting the Nuggets watch party.
Yes!
So we'll be, yeah. I don't think we'll be getting that this year. I don't know what could cause that this year. Would a trade up for Travis Hunter elicit the Harry Met Sally reaction?
Dude, was that so uncomfortable, man? It was awkward, weird, like I know it's become like a soundbite that we use, for dude, that was so awkward. It was so uncomfortable, man. I still can't get over it. I was like, is this what I do now for a living? I don't know if I want to do this.
I had never seen anything like it.
Grown men.
Oh, I was so annoyed.
Oh, man.
Look, he got the first round. I'll give it to him. He got the first round.
Yep. D-Mac
Now,
was
again,
right about Bo.
I'm going to keep saying it. I'm a 3-year guy. We'll see where we're at in 3 years. I like where this one's heading, though.
Yeah,
it's heading in a good direction.
The thing that I've learned, and I've checked myself on it with this take, the importance still to this day of intangibles and fit with the coach, fit with the franchise, fit with what you need. And I think the nurture piece is very important to the quarterback position. If Bo Nix, frankly, if you hadn't had a very, very good defense this year, how would it have felt? I don't know.
Well, I'm with you, but here's why I want to say this too for everybody. Here's why I do the 3-year thing. If I'd asked you last year, prior to this last season, how you felt about Nick Bonito, would you have given me the answer that you gave after the end of this season, his 3rd year?
I was kind of in love with him last year. When I was on with Demps, I kept talking about like my man crush on Nick Bonito, but the production wasn't where it was.
It was not there.
Yeah, but I saw my football. I saw
you saw the quick twitch that everybody liked.
This dude's pretty dang special.
He was praised for quick twitch coming out, but he also was jumping off sides a lot.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I try to think of the cautionary tales.
Yep.
I'll tell you the ultimate cautionary tale. Mike Kroll was rookie of the year for the Denver Broncos back in, I want to say 1990.
Is that Lucas's father?
No,
I'm not your father.
He was no.
So
Mike, be very clear, it wasn't his dad. If you had met him,
he wasn't Anakin to Lucas.
No, it was very. It would have had to been Mace Windu. Would have to be his father.
Mace Windu
to Anakin. Is all I'm saying. So no, and it was spelled differently. No, but Mike Kroll was rookie of the year, phenomenal, and then all of a sudden, nothing fell off. That was that. So, and I'm not saying about Bo. I'm saying about every draft pick, you got to give them 3 years, I think, to really show you what they are. So, frankly, man, Von Miller was a little up and down, at the start of things. So, there you go. I'm hoping we have something. Look, I hope we're yelling about something come Thursday night. I'd love to be screaming about a Travis Hunter trade or Genty or Warren. I don't think it would cause what we heard last year, but I'd be pretty dang psyched.
I'll tell you this, man. I might have some type of similar reaction if the Broncos move up to get Ashton Genty, man.
Okay, I want to hear it now. Now I'm all in.
But yeah, I won't sound like that was I don't know, man. That wasn't healthy. That was not a healthy yelp.
No, it wasn't, but it's fine.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. To each his own. Do you?
The funny thing about it was there was the Nuggets were beating the Lakers and the bar was so loud I'm not sure anybody even heard him. For as loud as that sounded.
That's probably why he was so loud, right? To give him the benefit of the doubt.
Nobody even heard him. All right, man. We'll talk to you guys on Thursday night. Our coverage on 950. I think we'll be on all the socials, of course. And then Mike, me, and Peyton will be back next week. We'll have to figure out. I got to figure out the playoff schedule. Do we have both Avs and Nuggets Monday again? I think 3 and 4 are separate, but then
I'm kind of ready.
6 and 7
I'm ready
same
to.
Day.
The 2 words that I'm kind of ready to retire from my vernacular:
double dipperoo,
and joker. I'm kind of good off those 2. I'm kind of good. I know it's marketing genius with the double dipperoo and Altitude Sports Radio. We got 2 games today,
Yeah.
2 games. That's what we got. So
just give me one a day. But anyway.
Yeah, please.
All right. Good night, everybody. We appreciate you.
I see it. Number 38.
Number 38, Rhino.
Freaking come, man. Watching Nuggets. My daughter will be there with me. She's into draft coverage. She loves it. It's her deal. So be there in the River North area where all the cool hipster kids hang out, like Andy Lindahl.
By the way, I also feel like Dick Vernon from the Breakfast Club with his long ass fingers telling you 2 months, Bender. I got you. 2 months.
Those are 9.5 inches, right? Dude.
Yeah. Well, Dick Vernon had your Penix hands.
Yeah, I was a 10-inch hand guy.
You and I are not. You and I aren't getting drafted. I don't think.
No, I have big hands. I'm a 10-inch guy.
You keep telling yourself that. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk to you next week.